Soul FM, let's get it on. You're here with Tylor and Luke, and we've got a special guest in the studio, don't we, Luke?
Yeah, the director from that movie that you were watching, Guy
Pigden from
Thank you.
I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, which I'm showing the cameras because we're filming this as well.
Hello.
So, Guy, first question, because, of course, now you're here because a rant of yours has gone viral.
Yeah, that's right. I basically essentially one of the biggest problems, obviously, that any small film is dealing with often is piracy. And we've sort of had our film pirated in various ways since it was released initially. But a couple of weeks ago, I found the film was uploaded to YouTube. And we've actually had it uploaded to YouTube a couple of times before and gotten it taken down eventually, but I wrote to YouTube and I said, hey, this is copyright infringement. My name is Guy Pigden. I'm the writer-director. That's, if you look, if you Google Guy Pigden, probably the first thing that will come up is writer-director of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. That's, so it's very easy to verify who I am. And they basically emailed me back and they said, sorry, but we don't think that you're the copyright holder of this movie. You need to send it from a verified email. And I don't know what email that is, if it's not my own. But, I am the copyright holder, so I sort of just gave up at that stage. Like, I was just a bit over it. I was like, all right, well, I'll get back to that later, because I'm fed up with sending emails to YouTube and getting automated responses back. And this time I sort of, it came back to my attention a couple of days ago, and when I first looked at it, it had about 8 views, and I wasn't really too fazed about that, and I was like, well, we'll get it down. But when I checked again now, it's just had over 300,000 views. And so, in that space of three and a half weeks, 300,000 people have now seen it on YouTube and enjoyed it. But, it's, that's obviously doesn't really help me. And so what I posted on Facebook was basically, this is the kind of thing that's happening all the time. And it's not an issue for big movies and big TV shows and stuff like that, but piracy is really affecting small filmmakers such as myself, who are hoping that through I Survived a Zombie Holocaust that they would have enough money to kind of set up their next feature film. And because they're not making, and we're not making any money because of, the level of piracy that's involved, we're kind of getting screwed. And through that, it means that, we make less films, and I guess that new generation of filmmakers has a much more difficult time sort of breaking through to have the opportunity to create, the new films that we all enjoy, or TV shows. And that was kind of my point. And, a lot of people, I guess, responded to that because they're like, either they were sort of artists in the same sort of boat, or they just kind of felt my pain. And so it's gone kind of viral on Facebook and been shared around by a lot of people, and which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but what I can't understand is, because from what I understand, it's not the official version, it's a previously edited version. So how did someone get a hold of that? Right.
Well, it is the official overseas version, which is not the same as the version that is available here in New Zealand and Australia. Basically, the director's cut is available here in New Zealand and Australia, and it's not available overseas. We sort of gave a previous version to our sales agent before we did this new cut, and we were not able, through various reasons, to give them the slightly newer, updated version. So also this film is like not my favorite version of the film. It's about 7 minutes longer than my sort of director's cut of the film, and it's, I think, not as good. So again, it's also frustrating that everyone's seeing the version that I sort of don't endorse as what I see the film as.
Yeah, that can be a bit frustrating. But would it have been a little bit more of a devastating blow if they actually did manage to leak the director's cut that you were looking for?
No, because I think people, it's very hard to make that distinction. So for them, the film is just the film, whatever way you see it, whether you see the long version, the short version, that's your version. So whenever someone comes to talk to me about this film, it's whatever version they've seen. And unfortunately, most of the one that has been pirated, because the film first came out in the US, and as soon as your film gets sort of made digitally available, it's torrented. And so once it's torrented, that's it. That's the version that's out there, because that's the one that everyone's downloading off the torrent sites. And so, it just happens that's the longer version. So really what's upsetting to me is just the fact that, once upon a time, basically a generation ago when I grew up, you couldn't torrent anything. There was no torrenting. There was no YouTube. And all this stuff you couldn't do. If you just liked a film and you wanted to see a film, you had to pay for it. There's no other option. And yes, there was VHS copying off TV and off your friends and stuff like that, but that's a much more micro scale. And whereas now, a lot of the friends that I have just don't pay for films anymore. They just don't see that they should have to. A lot of people that I go to work with are just exchanging hard drives with volumes of films on them. And I guess they see it as a completely victimless crime. And look, I'm not saying that I haven't pirated stuff as well. And I'm sure you guys have a few films on your laptop or wherever. It's something that everyone does, but it's hard to make the distinction, I think, for people where, if you download the latest Avengers film, right? Well, Marvel has many revenue streams. They've already taken $1 billion at the box office, for example, before people get on, and people are still buying those, and they're buying the Blu-rays and all that sort of thing. If you then torrent a film that's sort of released both online and in theaters at the same time, like the zombie film, you're directly diminishing, the value of it, and we're not making any money. We haven't made that $1 billion at the box office. We haven't made any money at the box office. So we're just losing money right from the beginning, and no one's really sort of buying into it. And so that's how, I guess that's the difference between these small and big films, and how piracy greatly affects us in a way that it affects them less. They also don't really have the same problem of the film being put on YouTube or whatever, because they have these big giant sort of law firms and stuff that are working with YouTube. So even if you upload a piece of Star Wars or something like that, it'll automatically been taken down, copyright infringement. But if you're not one of those big studios and don't have that sort of dynamic in place with YouTube, you're kind of in my situation.
Yeah, which is not a good situation to be in. As a filmmaker myself, I feel for you. Keep on listening. We've got more from Guy coming up.
Tylor and Luke. Woohoo!